Hello everyone. Today our team will be discussing about the eating disorder that is usually being experienced by most of the people without knowing that they have that such disorder. Unknowingly, they don't consider it since it is bearable at first. So let's go and have a deeper look into different eating disorder. By the way, I am Miss Mandiri, your first presenter for today. Eating disorders are actually serious and often fatal illnesses that causes severe disturbances to persons' eating behaviors. These include obsession with food, body weight, and shape. These three may also a signal of eating disorder. But there are common eating disorders: the anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and binge eating disorder. So let us tackle these three. So in here, you can read some factors that could contribute an adolescent to have an eating disorder like um, weight, weight gain, weight loss, distorted body image, underweight, dieting, health problems, appetite, obesity, malnutrition, and other one, skinny, the calories, and self-esteem, appetite. There are many factors that could affect adolescents' mind that could go to eating disorder. So let us first define it. Eating disorders frequently appear during teen years or young adulthood, but may also develop during childhood or later in life. So this disorder does not appear in one aspect in our life of our lives, but walang pinipili mapabata man or matanda ay maaapektuhan or makaka-experience. This disorder also affect both gender, even if you are man or woman, you can experience these disorders. Researchers findings that eating are caused by complex interaction of genetic or by blood sa inyong genes ay may mga kadugo na kayong may eating disorder, biological, mamana din sa parents or even sa mga ancestors, and behavior that an adolescent would look up to, or psychological and social factors by influenced by the people that surrounds that adolescence. Treatments and therapies. So this involves psychotherapies wherein IPT, interpersonal psychotherapy, is included, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and the family-based therapy or FBT, um, particularly the Maudsley approach that showed full recovery rates up to 90% and effective treatment with report up to 50 to 60% weight restoration. Um, separate family treatment, separate family therapy also is included. The medical care and monitoring, nutritional counseling, medication at last.
Okay, so let's tackle the anorexia nervosa first. This disorder may see themselves as overweight even when they are dangerously underweight. They typically weigh themselves repeatedly as well and severely restrict the amount of food they eat and eat very small quantities of only certain foods. This disorder, the anorexia nervosa, has the highest mortality rate of any mental disorder. So, okay, so symptoms of anorexia nervosa include extremely restricted eating, extreme thinness, um, a relentless pursuit of thinness and unwillingness to maintain a normal or healthy weight, um, intense fear of gaining weight, distorted body image, and there are other symptoms may develop over time as well, that thinning of the bones, mild anemia and muscle wasting and weakness, brittle hair and nails, dry and yellowish skin, and as well as lanugo. Lanugo is a soft, feathery hair that can grow all over the body, most often on the back and the shoulders. Um, and next is severe constipation, infertility, damage to the function of the heart, and etc. So this one, as you guys can see, people with anorexia nervosa may feel intense fear of gaining weight. So most of them are very scared to gain weight kasi feel nila baka i-bully sila or maging hindi nila bagay yung resulta, but they are not aware na their body is not healthy anymore. The way they took care of themselves are not proper, like hindi proper yung pangangalaga nila sa self nila, because they are always listening, or they rely to other about themselves. That's why nakakaranas sila ng um, masyadong kapayatan, na halos yung bone nila ay nakikita na talaga, and that's not normal anymore, and that's not healthy. So what can I suggest is that eat as you can, like kumain kayo ng mabuti, gulay, yung makakabuti sa katawan niyo. Yeah, because health is wealth. So, bakit pa magre-rely sa mga tao kung alam mo naman ang sarili mo, right? Okay. Um, we also have this perfectionism. I think this one is the theory of this anorexia, related theory of this anorexia nervosa. It should come as no surprise that perfectionism, or the belief that one must be perfect, is a contributing factor to disorders, particularly anorexia, and related to eating weight and body shape. While an exact mechanism is unknown, it is believed that perfectionism magnifies normal body imperfections, leading an individual to go to excessive. Example is the restrictive behaviors to remedy to the perfection. Okay, so this series is a complex personality characteristic with no universally accepted definition. It is sometimes viewed as a personality trait or symptom. It can be also understood as a process, and perfectionism can have positive and negative aspects, diba? Like having high standards can be an asset, and in many cases, it can be helpful, yes, in attaining the our goals, yes. But however, perfectionism also exacts a cost, and in the wrong situations. Too much of it can be an impediment. Impediment. This associated with psychological problems is problematic and has been referred to as clinical perfectionism. So, di ba, being perfectionism, good naman siya, but as what I've said a while ago, it has negative impact and positive impact. But you just have to, kumbaga, itimbang-timbang nimo kung unsay sakto. Like, magpagitna ka. Yes. Okay, so next, this video will give you um background about this disorder.
I'm Katie. I suffered from anorexia from the age of 14 to 19. I've been recovered now for 2 years. When I was 14, I started to be bullied by the boys who were in my class, and my self-esteem just shattered, basically. I became really depressed and paranoid and thought, okay, I'll make a New Year's resolution to lose a little bit of weight. If I lose some weight, perhaps things will change. So I made this New Year's resolution and cut things out of my diet. Sugar, normal milk, all the things with fats, including butter and eggs and everything like that. And had a really restricted diet. I also started exercising obsessively, and it became a real power thing for me. I suddenly had this new control, and it was wonderful. After about 3 months, I started to hear this voice that, it started to control my every move, everything that I did during the day, it would control it. But I didn't see it as being negative. I thought, wow, this is fantastic, this new friend is helping me. I didn't tell anybody about it, so I kept it to myself. And my parents started to notice a change, obviously, in my eating and my behaviour, because I was becoming very sullen and very, very quiet, and I'd spend, almost all my time exercising or in my room. Eventually my parents thought, okay, this is really getting serious now. My mum noticed my periods had stopped, my hair was falling out. She used to find it in the bath and clumps of it all over the house. So she made me go to my GP and said there's something wrong with her, there's something really wrong with her. And then I had a small heart attack, and that's when the GP really took notice and referred me to a psychiatrist. She thought, okay, we've have to get you to hospital. The first 3 months that I was in, really they were just trying to feed me up, basically, because I was so weak and so ill. I was still listening to the voice constantly. All they just really focused on just bringing my weight up. I think when I was at a very low weight and I was looking at these pictures, to be honest, I still saw this fat, blubbery mass. I didn't see the bones, I didn't see the thinness of the emaciation. It was just, to me, it was just a big lump, basically. It's only now that I've recovered I can really see the true image that's there. The day I was admitted into hospital, I started keeping a diary of my hospital days there. I mean, I kept diaries for years beforehand, but this one was specifically for hospital. And then 5 months later, when I just got off bed rest, I thought, right, I've got a real substantial amount of information here that could be useful to people in my diary. So I thought, I'm going to make this into a book. So that came about like that, and my first book I self-published. And then my second one, fortunately, was taken on by a publisher. Really, the book was a real healing process for me. I believe that in completing that, it really helped me to get over the last stages of my recovery. I think a lot of people have the wrong idea completely of what anorexia is. They think it's just about, cutting off calories and just exercising. And it's not. It's about controlling your entire way of life. It is a mental illness, and it does dominate every waking thought, and when you fall asleep, you're thinking about it. When you wake up, you're thinking about it. It even controls your dreams. You dream about anorexia, and people have no idea. I think support groups are actually vital in the recovery process. My mum set one up now for the Northeast. They get loads of parents going there for support. I've learned important lessons, I know, but I would have given anything not to have been ill. But now that I'm well, I'm never going to waste another second. Every second is important. 6 years ago, I never would have imagined myself going to university. I'm passionate about my writing. I can do whatever the heck I want in my life, and nothing's going to stop me.
Okay, so in this, I have additional, kumbaga, this disorder also have treatment, and if kanang dili ka ganahan mabalik na nga maka-experience sa anorexia disorder, I mean, yes, you have to follow these self-care tips. First one, the set goals you can meet. Yes, kanang iset nimo imong goals nga kanang wherein you feel like you're comfortable with, and you think nga you really deserve it, na kumbaga yes, basta kanang comfortable ka by setting that goal nga like okay ko ani. Tapos practice smart eating habits, like avoid those mga habit nimo sa una nga dili maayo. Practice kanang kumbaga practice proper diet nga di po diet na magpaniwang, but kanang kumbaga i-balance nimo imuhang weight. And then wear clothes you like. Kani siya gina-judge man gyud ta, especially nowadays nga kung unsa imong suoton i-judge gyud ka sa mga tawo. That's why a lot of people ma-depress or kumbaga ma-conscious sa ilahang self. But anyways, kailangan nato butangag boundaries atong self, like kung unsa ingon sa mga tawo sa ato ang body, sa ato ang panuot, kumbaga it's none of their business. And it's up to you kung magpapikto ka sa ilahang mga storya. But again, I advise you nga wear clothes you like. Kung asa ka comfortable nga clothes, then wear. Kung gusto ka pang lalaki, then wear. Kung gusto ka pang babae, then go with it. As long as you're being you, like dili nimo gina-fake imuhang kaugalingon, then like it's kinda treating yourself na I deserve to wear this because I feel good and I feel beautiful today. Yes. And next, we have the pamper yourself. Diba? Karon, most of the time, I mean, sa karon nga panahon, makalimot na kita sa atong kaugalingon because we focus on chasing people nga like dili deserve ang ato ang time. And then this time you choose yourself, you pamper yourself, then lami kay sa feeling nga gaan nimo og time imuhang kanang i-care nimo ang imong self, palitan nimo kung sa mga gusto nimo, ana bitaw like And then next, they ask for emotional support, di ba? Sa karon gyud, like a lot of us choose to keep silent. Dili na to. Tapos like, di ba? Like kay feel nila pag when you're in silence, okay ka, but I'm reminding you na it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to ask help from others. Okay? Para pod magaan-gaanan imuhang kuan, and it's part of healing and growing yourself. And then next, help others. Diba? Like by helping others, you are also helping yourself to grow. Yan, naka-feel jud kay ko ani, like nindot kay sa feeling makatabang ka sa mga tao, kay mas ma-appreciate nimo ang imuhang extenses diri sa world, like oh, nakatabang kong tawo, and kana makita nila na sa imuha nga maayo ka nga pagkatao, mahuna-hunaan nila in the future nga kaning tawhana na ni siya natabang sa ako, 'di ba? And the last one is give your mind a rest. Sa karon nga panahon gyud, like as in we overthink, 'di ba? Mo nay na habit gyud sa mga kabataan. That's why a lot of people, or a lot of young people, a lot of youth kay koan di nila matake ang pag-overthink. That's why mo undergo sila sa suicide. But you know, kung mag-overthink man gani ka, huna-huna akong ikaayo ba na sa imuhang kaugalingon? Tinuod ba na siya imuhang gina-overthink? Kinsa bay duoy sa imuhang pag-overthink? Do they care? Kung mag-overthink ka, diba imuharang kaugalingon? Only yourselves, like only ourselves ang makatabang sa ato ang kaugalingon. And by giving your mind a rest, nindot kay sa feeling. Take time to read books, watch movie if mag-overthink na gid kay ka, pagbasa og libro kanang mga motivational, pag-watch og movie nga kanang happy, dayon do whatever you want, like para lang mawala imuhang pag-overthink. Pero huna-hunaa lang gyud nga you're not alone here, and kanang huna-hunaon ni mga challenges running mga nahitabo sa imuhang kaugalingon, imuha ra gihapon kaugalingon ng imuhang tabangan. Wala na laing makatabang kundi imuha ra gyung kaugalingon sa imuha.
So the next one is bulimia nervosa. So, bulimia nervosa is characterized by recurrent and frequent episodes of eating unusual large amounts of food while feeling out of control. So this binging is followed by compensatory behavior such as forced vomiting, excessive use of laxatives or diuretics, fasting, excessive exercise, or a combination of these behavior. So unlikely to anorexia nervosa, people with bulimia nervosa usually maintain a healthy or relatively normal weight. So there are symptoms of bulimia nervosa: chronically inflamed and sore throat, swollen salivary glands in the neck and jaw area, acid reflux disorder, intestinal distress and irritation from laxative abuse, severe dehydration from purging of fluids, worn tooth and decaying, and electrolyte imbalance. So according to Polivy and Herman, one commonly discussed contributor to eating disorders is the media. Idealizing thin models and actresses sends the message to young women and adolescents that in order to be popular and attractive, you must be thin. With the emergence of social media, examples are Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and the caption that chubby is the new sexy and flat is the new hot. Yeah, I saw that captioned in the social media earlier, so exposure to media, images, and celebrities is even easier. Couple this with the ability to modify images to make them even thinner. It is no wonder many young people and men become unhappy with their own weight and shape, and it can also build self-confidence to other people. Okay, so the next one is this video will give you background about this disorder.
Your mom also purges after meals?
Yeah, she's always done it. So do other girls at school. But everyone's always making fun of me, always making me come into the office. They don't care about the other girls who do it.
Why is that?
Because they're the pretty ones, the thin ones. I'm weird and ugly. But they all do it. In the locker room, in the bathroom. But do they get caught? No. It's not fair. There's nothing wrong with it.
So in addition, I will give you some treatment self-care tips. So the number one is stick to your treatment plan. So don't skip therapy sessions and try not to stray from meal plans, even if they make you uncomfortable. So learn about bulimia. Education about your condition can empower you and motivate you to stick to your treatment plan. So the next one is get the right nutrition. If you aren't eating well or you're frequently purging, it's likely your body isn't getting all of the nutrients it needs. Talk to your primary care provider or dietitian about appropriate vitamin and mineral supplements. So, however, getting most of your vitamins and minerals from food is typically recommended. Stay in touch. Don't isolate yourself from caring family members and friends who want to see you get healthy. Understand that they have your best interests at heart and that nurturing, caring relationships are healthy for you. Be kind to yourself. Resist urges to weigh yourself or check yourself in the mirror frequently. These may do nothing but fuel your drive to maintain unhealthy habits. The last one is be cautious with exercise. Talk to your primary care provider about what kind of physical activity, if any, is appropriate for you, especially if you exercise excessively to burn off post bench calories.
Binge eating disorder. So people with bad lose control over his or her eating. Di nila nakokontrol yung pagkain nila. They eat more and more without any consideration of the food to not eat because of having more calories or bawal, kay allergy, mga ganun. Periods of, unlike bulimia nervosa, that if they eat a lot, they will follow up what they eat, and it is followed by a exercises that could magpalabas yung kinain. And periods of binge eating are not followed by purging, yun na nga, purging, excessive exercise, or fasting. That's why, as a result, people with binge eating are overweight or obese, matataba, nasobrahan sa fats and taba. It is the most common eating disorder in USA. Symptoms include eating unusually large amount of food in a specific amount, eating even when you're full or not hungry. It is when you see a food and you aggressively eat it. even if you are full enough. And eating fast during bench episode, eating until you're uncomfortably full, yung mananakit na yung tiyan mo, pero kumakain ka pa din. Eating alone or in a secret to avoid embarrassment. So this one, um, the clinical case that I choose is explains this one, this eating alone or in secret to avoid embarrassment. Feeling distressed, ashamed, or guilty about your eating. If after your in joyful eating, you will feel guilt about your eating after, and frequently dieting and possibly without weighing loss, weight lost without weight loss. So this is usually experienced by many of us that they will say, I'm on diet, but keep on eating. So according to Fairburn, Copper, and Shafran, the theory of trans-diagnostic model of eating disorder suggests that overall low self-esteem increases the risk for over-evaluation of body, which in turn leads to negative eating behaviors that could lead to an eating disorder. So an adolescent may feel embarrassment when they see or evaluate their body and start to have low self-esteem, and that would lead them to negative eating behaviors like binge eating disorder, and that would then make a huge difference to their life when they experience this one. And there are also tips to have a self-care and to handle this behavior. But before that, I will show you a case of a adolescent that has a eating disorder, particularly a binge eating disorder.
I used to bring food back from the cafeteria.
Uh huh.
That wasn't really allowed.
Okay.
I didn't like people seeing me do that. I didn't want them to make fun of me
So
or
you,
think that I was.
so you took the food home?
Yeah.
In addition to professional treatment, follow the self-care tips. First, avoid skipping meals. In here, setting a regular eating schedule and sticking to it is one of the most effective way to overcome binge eating. Skipping meals can contribute to cravings and increase the risk of overeating. So in here, this is very much familiar with students who prioritize first their priorities, particularly in academics or whatever priorities they have. They skip meals so that and then as a result they experience overeating. So number two, stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day is a simple yet effective way to curb cravings and stop overeating. In fact, studies shows that increasing water intake could be linked into decreased hunger and calorie intake. Another one is starting hitting the gym. So studies indicate that adding exercise to your routine could prevent binge eating. Other one is the eat breakfast every day. Starting each day off with a healthy breakfast might reduce the risk of binge eating later in the day. Um, Getting enough sleep is one of the self-care tips. It is when sleep affects your hunger levels and appetite. And sleep deprivation may link into binge eating. And not only that, because many factors could contribute to sleep deprivation, and one of that is binge eating. And the last one is to seek help. While the strategies above can be helpful, oftentimes a treatment plan designed by a professional is needed to help overcome binging, binging, or whatever pronunciation is that. Um, we always need help from professionals because we, a normal people, could not identify problems because it is their expertise, and they can help us throughout the process of our self-care tips. We have to monthly or yes, monthly visit to them to ensure our health. This figure shows the current statistic depicting eating disorder in men versus women. So, in the case of anorexia nervosa, in 100%, 5% are men and 95% are women. And in bulimia case, 20% are men and 80% are women. In the last disorder, binge eating, it shows that 50% of men experience it and 50% of women experience it. So it is equal, and we all know, and I know that you also notice it or perceive it in our family or in our home or our in at home, and that's all.